The afternoon sun streamed through the floor-to-ceiling windows of the airport cafe, creating patterns of light across the worn tile floor. Jessica Harper sat at a small table near the gate area, nursing a coffee she couldn't really afford, while her 7-year-old daughter Maya slept against her shoulder, exhausted from their early morning start. At 34, Jessica had learned to find moments of rest wherever she could. The past 5 years as a single mother had taught her resilience born of necessity, working 2 jobs while raising Maya alone after her ex-husband had left when their daughter was 2. This trip to visit her sister in Seattle was the first vacation they had taken in 3 years. Funded by tax refund money Jessica had carefully saved. As she adjusted Maya's position to ease the weight on her arm, Jessica's attention was caught by a man walking past carrying a leather messenger bag and expensive-looking luggage. Something about his profile made her breath catch. Ethan. The name escaped before she could stop herself. The man stopped and turned, and Jessica found herself looking into eyes she hadn't seen in 12 years. Ethan Cole, her first love from college, stood before her, looking simultaneously familiar and completely transformed. Jessica, Ethan said, recognition and surprise mingling in his expression. I can't believe it's really you. At 35, Ethan had the polished appearance of someone who lived in boardrooms and luxury hotels. His white dress shirt was perfectly pressed, his dark jeans designer, and everything about him spoke of success and affluence. What Jessica didn't yet know was that Ethan was the CEO of Cold Digital Solutions, a tech company he had built from nothing into a business worth hundreds of millions. Hi, Jessica managed, acutely aware of her own worn jeans and faded shirt, the visible exhaustion in her face, and the sleeping child against her shoulder. It's been a long time. 12 years, Ethan said, his eyes taking in the sleeping child. Is this your daughter, Maya? Jessica confirmed, gently stroking her daughter's hair. She's 7. An awkward silence fell as both processed the unexpected reunion. Their relationship had ended during their senior year of college, a painful breakup that had resulted from diverging life paths and young people's inability to communicate through differences. Can I sit? Ethan asked, gesturing to the chair across from her. Jessica nodded, and Ethan settled into the seat, his expensive bag placed carefully beside him. You look tired, Ethan said, then immediately winced at his own words. I'm sorry that came out wrong. I just mean you look like you could use some rest. Jessica managed a small smile. Single parenting will do that to you. We've been up since 4 this morning to catch our flight. Where are you headed? Seattle to visit my sister. It's Maya's first time on a plane. Jessica felt the gap between their lives stretching wider with every word. Here she was celebrating a basic vacation funded by tax returns while Ethan looked like he could buy first-class tickets without checking his bank balance. I'm heading to Seattle, too, actually, Ethan said. Business meeting. He paused, seeming to wrestle with what to say next. Jessica, I know this is awkward, but would you like to catch up properly? Maybe we could share a cab from the airport, grab coffee or something. Jessica hesitated, pride wearing with curiosity. Ethan, I appreciate the offer, but I should be honest with you. I'm not in a place to do expensive coffee shops or fancy restaurants. My sister is picking us up and our budget is pretty tight. Ethan's expression shifted, showing something that looked like shame. Jessica, I wasn't trying to show off or make you uncomfortable. When I saw you, all I could think was how much I've wondered over the years what happened to you. He looked down at his hands. Can I be honest with you about something? I've spent the past 12 years building a company and becoming successful by every external measure. I have money, recognition, all the things I thought would make me happy, but I'm lonely in ways I didn't know were possible. The admission surprised Jessica with its vulnerability. What do you mean? I mean that I've been so focused on business success that I never built real relationships. I dated people who were interested in what I could provide rather than who I was. I lost touch with old friends because I was always working. And lately, I've been realizing that all the money in the world doesn't fill the space where genuine human connection should be. Maya stirred against Jessica's shoulder, and Ethan's expression softened as he watched the little girl resettle. You have something I don't, Ethan said quietly. Someone who loves you unconditionally, who you're building a real life with. That matters more than any business deal I've ever closed. Jessica felt her defensive walls begin to lower slightly. Ethan, being a single parent is incredibly hard. I'm not going to romanticize my situation just because you're feeling lonely. Maya is my world, but that doesn't mean I don't struggle with exhaustion, money, stress, and wondering if I'm doing enough for her. I didn't mean to diminish what you're going through, Ethan said quickly. I can see you're tired and that things are difficult. I'm just saying that even in the hardship, you have something real and meaningful. I've spent years chasing success that increasingly feels hollow. Their conversation was interrupted by boarding announcements, and Jessica realized they were on the same flight. What seat are you in? Ethan asked. Jessica checked her boarding pass. 32B, back of the plane in the middle seat. Ethan looked at his own ticket. I'm in first class, Jessica. This might sound strange, but would you let me upgrade you and Maya to sit with me? Not as charity, but because I'd genuinely like to spend the flight talking to someone who knew me before all of this happened. Jessica's immediate instinct was to refuse, but Maya chose that moment to wake up and look around with sleepy confusion. Mommy, is it time to get on the plane? The little girl asked. Soon, sweetheart, Jessica said, then made a decision that surprised herself. Maya, this is an old friend of Mommy's from college. His name is Ethan. Hi, Maya, Ethan said with genuine warmth. I hear this is your first time flying. Would you and your mom like to sit in the special seats at the front of the plane with me? They're more comfortable, and you get to see everything better. Maya's eyes lit up with the uncomplicated excitement that only children possess. Really, can we, Mommy? Jessica met Ethan's eyes and saw something there that looked like hope mixed with loneliness. Against her better judgment, she nodded. The flight to Seattle became a journey of reconnection and honest conversation. Ethan proved himself surprisingly good with Maya, engaging her with stories about flying and asking genuine questions about her interests. As Maya eventually fell asleep again between them, Ethan and Jessica talked about the paths their lives had taken since college. I married someone I barely knew, Jessica admitted. I was 26, he seemed stable and kind, and I thought that was enough. Turned out he wasn't ready for the reality of parenting. He left when Maya was 2, and I haven't heard from him since. I'm sorry you went through that alone. I wasn't completely alone. My sister helped, and I had friends. But yes, it was hard in ways I never anticipated. Jessica paused. What about you? You said you dated people who were interested in what you could provide. That sounds painful in a different way. Ethan nodded. I kept meeting people who saw the CEO, the money, the lifestyle. No one seemed interested in the person underneath all that. Or maybe I just wasn't letting anyone see that person anymore. As the plane began its descent into Seattle, Ethan did something that surprised them both. Jessica, I know this is forward, but could we stay in touch? Not as some romantic thing necessarily, but as old friends who accidentally found each other again. I think we might both benefit from having someone in our lives who knew us before we became who we are now. Jessica considered the request carefully. Ethan, I need to be clear about something. I can't be part of your world of expensive restaurants and luxury experiences. My life is soccer practice, school conferences, and stretching grocery budgets. If we're going to be friends, it has to be on terms that work for both our realities. I understand, Jessica. Honestly, I'd love to experience some of that normal life you're describing. Maybe Maya would let me come to a soccer practice sometime. I could learn what real life looks like for people who aren't isolated in executive suites. Over the following months, Ethan and Jessica developed an unexpected friendship built on honesty about their different circumstances. Ethan did attend Maya's soccer practices, where he discovered the simple pleasure of cheering for a 7-year-old's small victories. Jessica occasionally allowed him to help with expenses, but always in ways that felt like mutual exchange rather than charity. More importantly, their friendship gave each of them something they needed. Jessica had someone who could offer perspective and practical help without judgment, while Ethan found connection with people who valued him for showing up consistently rather than for what he could buy. What began as an accidental airport encounter became a lesson in how life changes people. How success and struggle can both be isolating in different ways. And how genuine friendship can bridge gaps that seem insurmountable at first glance. The struggling single mom and the lonely millionaire discovered that neither of their lives was as simple as it appeared from the outside, and that sometimes the most valuable thing we can offer each other is honest acknowledgement of both our struggles and our strengths. Thank you for listening to this story about unexpected reunions and building friendships across different life circumstances. If this tale reminded you that success and struggle both come with challenges and that genuine human connection requires honesty about our real situations, please like this video, share it with someone who believes in authentic relationships, and subscribe for more stories about finding common ground despite different paths. We'd love to hear in the comments about unexpected reconnections in your own life or times when friendship bridged seemingly incompatible circumstances. Remember, the most meaningful relationships are built on mutual respect and honest acknowledgement of each other's realities, not on pretending our differences don't exist.